Okay, so my topic today is why do people leave our lives? Okay, maybe not everyone has this question, but I swear majority of my time, like people are like, what are you doing behind the scenes? No, honestly, hey, I'm literally putting down all your names in a list and trying to figure out why is this person on my mind? Why is this? I don't know what people think I do behind the scenes. I'm actually sitting there saying, okay, there's this person in my mind, why is this person in my mind? Okay, this person's in my mind, why is this person in my mind? Where do they fit? If I had a cupboard, are they putting in winter clothes? Are they my daily outfits? Or are they just seasonal? So I don't know, I feel like, okay, maybe not everyone puts like value on understanding why people, maybe some people don't care about other people, maybe that's their sole mission, not to have to give less fucks about people. And yes, sometimes I have an attitude of I don't give a fuck about this person, but it's only because I got to that point of like everything you've done is leading to like no emotions towards you whatsoever. So I feel like everybody really, I mean, everybody has people in their life. There's no person like on this earth plane, not even cats or dogs, that can say, I don't cry over this person or I don't feel angry over this person. I think that's why we come here. I know that anyone is saying has some unrealistic goal not to have people in their life is your hair. Something when you achieve it. So I don't know. I feel like because of the goddesses I work with, or because of my soul purpose and that, I work with a lot of relationships, and to be honest, when I pray for people, I pray for a lot of closure. And I feel like people are still seeking closure. I mean, some people I've met have still been seeking closure of a relationship that happened 22 years ago. 22 years ago. I'm only 25. I don't even know who my best friend was at 1 or 2. I don't know. So I don't know. Like anyone that tells you to get over it, I don't think humans have the ability to just get over things. They need answers. They don't need to be told get over it. They need to be given answers of why they should get over it. And when I was young, like my mom was guided to like understand my soul, and my soul needs to understand before I can let something go. Like I'm not a like the harder word is skeptical. I'm very skeptical. If I don't believe it, I'm gonna go find out if I believe it or if it's true. If you just didn't take time to answer that question properly. Once I went to like an astrology reading, and I think I was guided there by God because something changed in my life and I needed like answers, because I feel like when you have answers, you're easily able to move forward. I feel like God does the best to give us answers. No, some people want answers and why am I not getting my car? And trust me, those answers are on my list. I don't know. Every single day I'm sitting there trying to figure out answers to people's questions or people's prayers that they send to me. So I don't know. I've a lot of people have like a lot of perspectives of prayer, and I'm gonna say this, that everybody's prayer or their ritual of what they do is unique to them. I see a lot of people that I don't actually talk to them about how I pray, because pray because they don't understand my method. So for me, I see like, you get the blueprint method. A plus B plus C. Prayer is not a math sum. How people pray is their own way. I've come to different types of prayer. So I say it's like meditation. You get like walking meditation. You get just chilling meditation. You get the one where you standard. You can be in a meditative state. There's different ways to pray. Like I feel like every time I'm talking to a soul, I'm praying to them, because my soul is very in the divine. I feel like praying to someone is sacred. Talking to someone is sacred. So I've struggled because I've had to come through this spiritual awakening of like understanding that people are praying to me. Why are people praying to me? Why are people praying to me? Who am I that people are praying to me? I'm sure Jesus' soul sits there and says yes, and people have been praying to me all fucking day. When does it stop? So it depends. I honestly depends who you are. It's very important to know who you are and why you do it. And if I have to bring it back to a practical experience for people that don't really understand high spiritual intelligence, it's kind of like, what role do you play? If you were in, let's give a nice example. a shopping mall, right? You get the customers, the people that are coming in, they have a different role. They're coming there where they're buying, you have the tellers, their job is to do that. And then you have the boss who manages over that. And you have all these different roles, So your soul has a role in this universe, And sometimes I've come to the truth that, that's my role in this universe. It's hectic. It's hectic. That's my role. That's my role. It's intense. Like they say, why? What's your role in this huge universe? It's a huge question that I would not put any pressure on you to answer overnight. To answer a question like what's your role in the universe is a huge matter. That's existential stuff. Like I would give you like at least 4 years to answer that question. Some questions might take like 2 months. Some questions might take 4 years for you to understand. And that also comes with closure, like reasons why. Some things are going to take you 4 years to realize this is why that happened the way it did, or some things are just going to give you 2 months. Oh, that's why it happened the way you did. I think all souls are seeking a sense of closure. Seeking a sense of, I need an answer to why this happened. We're all curious. All souls are curious in nature. They want to know why it happened. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I would say it like this, like to bring it down to a simpler level, because sometimes some questions are huge, and to help people like bring. I know it's about in this emotional book. It talked about because some emotions are massive to feel, like to help someone bring it back to smaller quantities to digest. It's like if you had food, and you're like, you can't eat this whole cake today. You can eat one bit by a time, and that's how God works. God's a journeyman. He isn't I'm gonna give it to you tonight. He knows the benefit of giving you a journey rather than I'm gonna give it to you today and then you sort it out. He likes to give you one step of the answer daily. And that's why when I think of God and Jesus, he's more of a teacher, because he knows that you can't learn this whole math syllabus overnight. He knows that it's going to take at least a year. It takes 12 years to do maths. 12 years. And I know there's been a lot of people like questioning time and the factor of time and how they just don't like time. And unfortunately, it's a rule that we live in. It's there for structure. If we didn't have time, then I don't know. Maybe your soul doesn't need to. Maybe your soul needs to go to a place where planet where there's less time lessons, because if you come to the earth plane, you're learning about time. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I feel like everybody's seeking. The way my soulmate communicates to me telepathically is saying, I'm trying to make sense of this connection. He's not saying, hasn't come to the conclusion of the connection, or he's saying, I'm still trying to make sense of it. Like what is it in God's eyes to me? Like what is this connection for me in God's eyes from the higher perspective? Must I get angry at this person and let them go, or must I forgive them and have hope that they're still gonna come back? And sometimes, I saw his growth pattern in my soulmate when he said, "No, I understand this relationship. I understand it." So that's like a huge step forward in his progress. And he sent me such a nice thing the other day. It's like, try when you communicate, try to comprehend what they're saying. So when you're listening to someone, try not to assume what they're saying, try to comprehend it. And I was like, okay, man, I really like this word. Because it's like sometimes when people are talking to us, we don't understand what they're saying. Understanding and comprehending are the same thing. And I take it back to English, where I'm like, okay, no, I really want to understand what this person is saying instead of just assuming what they're saying. So it's like, here's this one quote my younger self shows me. She's like, did you really understand what I was saying, or did you just assume that you knew what I was saying? And I see this a lot when I post stuff online and I get some spirits send me messages, and I'm like, you have literally assumed I've put that up and said that, when that was not my intention when putting it up. Like, if you sat here with me and asked me what my intention was when I put that up, some people are already jumping to conclusions, and that's where they are failing in essence. Like when you meet someone, you can have like okay, this is my theory on them, this is what I think, this is my assumptions at the moment. And like, even if you look at research projects, you first make an assumption on someone, and then you do certain tests and stuff and say, does this prove true, is it not true? To make a conclusion on the soul takes a very long time. So yeah, we've been working with that comprehension. I remember when we were doing English, the way to comprehend or be more engaging in conversations is to ask questions. I know some people hate being asked questions because hiding things. But I love to be asked questions. I know some people hate it being asked questions. Sometimes I get overwhelmed with all the questions that people ask me, because I feel like maybe a certain sort of duty in my soul to find an answer, or to help them find an answer, or even find the answer for myself, because I'm like, yo, I'd also really like to know the answer for this. Um, so yeah, I feel like if I have to take it back to English, what is comprehending when you're in a communication? And I value communication because I feel like a really good relationship or healthy relationship has a good skill level of communication. It's why it's healthy. So I remember in English we used to get a paragraph, and then you get questions to see, okay, did you remember this? Did you remember this? And I feel like if you are approaching your spouse or your relationship or friendship or whatever, try to sit and try and comprehend them. Like, ask questions. Okay, they said this. Let me just clarify. Did you say this, and did you mean this? Instead of coming with some people come with an attitude of ego. I know what you're saying. You're stress. You just let the guy deal with it. Just let the guy deal with it. Like, yeah. Anyways, let's stop.